All right. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Shane Kareem with Brian the Grizzly, and we got another special guest with us. We have Cookie Munster. What is up, Cookie?
What is up?
What's going on? So we are going to talk about the Buffy Vampire Slayer, the movie, the original movie from 1992. So we're going to get into that greatness, that classic. But before we do, Cookie, you want to give everyone, let everyone know where they can find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at CookieCritter44, and I'm also pretty regular on For One Night Only and How Did We Get Here?
Nice.
And I always tell everybody when you jump in the chat, like, yeah, that's my favorite right there.
That's right.
Yeah. And then when Elle comes in, tell her the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Listen, whoever's in chat, that's the favorite.
Uh-huh.
It's
all in the timing.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'll make sure to put a link in the description and a link up here above my head, so you guys can go check out and subscribe to those channels and check out Cookie on all those awesome channels. But like I say, we are going to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, not the show that everyone loves. We're going even further back. The Joss Whedon original movie from 1992. So with that being said, I'll let Cookie start. What were your thoughts? How do you feel about this movie? What do you think about it?
Well, I love this movie. I'm actually surprised it's a Joss Whedon movie. I had no idea until you said something.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah.
I had no idea. But I love it. I grew up with it. I used to watch Beverly Hills 90210, so of course I love Luke Perry.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a fun, campy, girl power kind of, fun movie. And it's got Pee Wee Herman in it. So how can you go wrong?
Exactly.
Yeah. So Joss Whedon was the screenplay. He didn't direct it.
I was like, wow. Okay.
But Joss Whedon did create it, and he's the one that wrote it, stuff like that. Same thing with the TV show. He didn't really, I think he directed a few of them. But yeah. But
he was at the beginning. He was there at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. So but yeah. What about you, Brian?
I love this movie. I don't know. I watched a lot of Buffy, the TV show, and it was fine. And it's good. I watched Angel, but I love this movie. Like I will watch this movie all the time, like all the time. Like, how many people do you know from it? I mean, so many stars were in this movie that got their start in it. I mean, I love being able to just kind of enjoy it, and then the ending with Pee Wee Herman when he's dying was hilarious to me. I love it. It's an inside joke for me and my family because we saw it together, and we always go like, "Oh, you're going to regret this." And then
it's still like the outtake is even better, where he just like drags it out for so long, like,
and he's kicking his feet on the ground. I love it.
I mean, at the end of the movie, comes after the credits, goes. Files again. It's just so much. It's so great.
Yeah. And definitely since when Paul Ruman had passed away recently, that was a clip I saw kind of making its way around the internet again. And it's definitely a great clip. Because you always think of him, Pee Wee Herman, obviously, but then you're like, oh yeah, he was in this great vampire movie on one arm and the best death scene ever. It is awesome.
Classic.
Yeah, big classic.
Anything. And then she said, "Oh, really? Clap." And he was like,
yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that part. Yeah. I mean, the cast was super stacked, like you said. Luke Perry, Paul Ruman, Hilary Swank was in, David Arquette, but then also Christy Swanson was. Yeah, and that's what I was like. Me and my girlfriend were talking about earlier. Was like, who did he owe? Like what? Like, granted, Luke Perry was big at the time. Don't get me wrong. Pee Wee Herman, that was like the start of his scandal. Was kind of, when this film came out. Hilary Swank was still kind of unknown. David Arquette was still kind of unknown. But down Southern, he was a Sutherland. I'm like, he probably the biggest person in this movie. And it was like, how? Like
maybe he owed the IRS.
Maybe,
exactly.
Man.
That's what he owed.
Yeah. I had to borrow some money from somebody, and they're like, "Listen, I got this vampire movie." So it's like, but his character was great. Merrick, All right, Merrick.
I
Yep.
loved him. He was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. Luke Perry, you know, was basically Luke Perry. You know,
Yeah.
he's just this like,
Mhm.
you know, like
all he
the
has
same
to
kind of
be.
character. Yeah,
all he has
exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
in this scene, I want you to be yourself. He's like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Like, you know, the character you do in every other movie right now or
Mhm.
show. That.
It's like you're Dylan from 90210, but we're just gonna comb your hair forward. That's the only difference. That's it.
Well,
Oh man, that's
yeah.
so great.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Chrissy Swanson, I think she's the one who played Buffy. She really wasn't in anything before and really after. Like this was like one of her big things. Like she was in like Dude Was My Car, like other small roles, but
Mhm.
nothing like never. I don't think she was ever a lead in a big film after this or before this. You know,
See,
that I
like
can really remember.
like when I was a kid, I
She
feel like
was in
she
the
was
Chase, right?
yeah, she was in The Chase. She was in
Mhm.
Mannequin 2 on the move.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There was
I know
another
she was
movie
in
she was
Big Daddy. She was in Big Daddy. I remember that.
Yes.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing her. I'm like, oh, it's Buffy.
I always think
Yeah.
about The Chase with Charlie Sheen because I thought
Mhm.
that she did a great job in that one.
I
So,
love
yeah.
that movie.
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, but you know, but this I think this was probably the big one that she was like known for.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
was this one.
There was actually like was this commercially successful? I think it was, right?
So
Oh,
the budget's like
yeah.
$7 million, and I think it made like $16 or $17 million. So I mean, it
So
doubled
it
its
did
budget.
okay.
Yeah.
It did okay. I think it got more of a following after the the at home release.
Mhm.
And then it started doing big there, you know, because like I watched this because of my little sister. You know, she's 4 years younger than me. This came out and it was on the TV all the time, like
Mhm.
all the time. You know, like
Yeah.
you know the stupid chant that they do is like how was it? How loose
How
is your
funky
goose?
is your chicken?
Yeah.
Loose.
Oh my god, like that's something like it will forever be burned into my head because it was
That's
just on
so
all the
funny.
time.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
my sister's fault too. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, I
wasn't
bet.
me. It
Yeah.
was my sister's fault.
Yeah, but I mean, I did enjoy it. It's not like I'm like, oh, this movie again. I'm like, all right, cool, you know, because it was funny, you know, like it was a good, fun like vampire movie that we kind of really haven't seen before. Where it was like, oh, here's a young Miss Popular, you know, kind of chick, and then now she has to become like a goth and kill vampires and hang out with this homeless dude. You know, it's like you know, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very different from the show though. It is very
Yeah,
different.
this
from the
was it made fun of itself. You know, Lothos was awesome. You know, it's
Yes.
gliding across. It was so,
Yeah.
it was so funny.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, because it wasn't a spoof, but it almost plays as a spoof at times. You know,
It's very campy.
campy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect. Yep. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very campy. But like I know like Cookie, you said like Buffy was like definitely like a lot of girl power. You know, like
Mhm.
which was obviously super big in early '90s and stuff like that. You know, yeah. That was super big. You know, Spice Girls became a thing sometime in the '90s too. I forgot what year.
Yeah. It was
You know,
very
but-
girls get it done in the
Yeah.
90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
it was cool because she had to kind of learn to depend on herself. So before at the beginning of the movie, she just, you know, this arm piece, whatever she is doing, whatever, and then she learned that she had the power within her. She could depend on herself instead of having to depend on that guy, and
Mhm.
that was cool too. You know, knowing that you
Yeah.
could be the hero in the movie no matter what. You don't have to be the side person, you know, or the victim. Because really, Luke Perry was a victim all throughout the damn movie.
Yes.
He really was. He really was. But like, you know, before Joss Whedon was known for all the, you know, messing up the DC and all the scandals and stuff. Like, that's what he was known for back then, was like very girl power. You know, between like you know, Serenity or Firefly,
Mhm.
you know, was a big one. Obviously Buffy. What's the other one that he did that was Dollhouse. I think he did. He was like a showrunner in Dollhouse or some producer in Dollhouse, something like that. You know, so yeah, you know, I was like, okay. And then obviously everything came out. You're like, really? Like you? You know?
It's like you write all
What was
these
the cover?
strong women. How did this
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of kind of crazy, but you know, he has a lot of good things, and Buffy was probably his best, you know, and you know, especially it had all the spin-offs and a show spin-off on it.
I
You know,
still say
Firefly.
Angel's better. Angel's better
Angel.
than Buffy. I said it. Angel's better than Buffy.
I watched Angel. I didn't watch Buffy.
Really?
I don't know how it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was this one was definitely a lot of fun. It was very 90s, you know, very, you know, like it felt right for that time, you know.
Yeah,
And it's just
spandex.
Like
and
you
they're
watch
doing
it now, it
flips.
feels very dated.
Exactly.
Oh,
It does.
yes. Yeah.
I feel like if I have to
Oh.
watch it, I have to watch it on VHS.
Yeah.
You have to mess with the tracking. You have to if you don't have the static, you're not doing it right. Yeah, but yeah, this was definitely a good one. Where's the Rotten Tomatoes? That's what I want to look up. Rotten Tomatoes only got a 36.
Oh wow.
Got 36.
Audience
Uh,
score?
I think that's the critics.
That has to be the critics.
Oh,
score,
I don't listen to critics.
because I'm
What's the
pretty
audience
sure
think?
it's 85 for audience.
No, the audience is only 43.
Stop.
For that. The critics, there's only 53 critics that did it. So you know, audience is 250,000. So
Oh, well, that's sad.
it is kind of sad.
Maybe you had to be like living in the time to appreciate it, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, this movie came out before Rotten Tomatoes was even a thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so people going back looking at it, saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, this wasn't good." No, it was awesome in every way.
Yeah. We're like,
you know,
this is nothing like the Buffy show. What is this?
Exactly.
yeah, little do they know, like this came first. You know. But yeah, does it well, here's I know a question I really don't want to ask too much for the Halloween stuff. But does this movie hold up? I know we kind of started talking about it a little bit, but like ultimately, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Cookie?
I mean, aesthetically, it feels very dated, but story-wise, I think it definitely holds up. It's hilarious. I still laugh every time I watch it, and I enjoy it. So I think it still holds up. It just looks very 90s.
I agree. I think it's kind of like when I think about 10 Things I Hate About You. You know, like aesthetically, when I look at it, it looks dated. Like you could tell that this is 20, 25, 30 years ago. But I still watch it. If it's one of those movies that if I flip through the channels and Buffy's on, I'm going to finish watching Buffy.
Right.
It's that funny, and it's a short, harmless movie that's done in 90 minutes. So yeah, I think it still holds up, but it just doesn't look the way that you wanted it to look.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But like Cookie said, it's still funny. Even though it's like, obviously based in the 90s, everyone acts super 90s, and very like Valley Girl kind of, vibe to it all and stuff like that. So it kind of dates itself, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still funny, and it's campy, and campy is supposed to be kind of goofy like that. So I think if anything, like if it's a campy movie, like we said it was, the aesthetic of the 90s just builds on top of it, like with all the mean girls, and Buffy was part of the mean girl crew and then not, I think that
even
is
with
all
Luke Perry being a drug addict, Pike was a druggie. And then but hilariously, like he's living in this trailer that's on top of the thing, top of a building, whatever, and his friend comes and knocks on the door. It was David Arquette, and he's floating. It's hilarious, because he's like, "Am I high?" No, he's high.
Like, you're floating, man.
Yeah, that was another great scene. Where he was like, wasn't he convincing him
I'm hungry, man.
Come hug me, come outside, come say hello.
Let me in.
Just let me in, Pike. Let me in.
Yeah, that was another great theme. But yeah, I mean that's like it. Even though it's dated, I think it still holds up. It's still a lot of fun, and I think if you're into the show, then you have to watch this. Right, this is a must watch if you're into the show.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's required watching.
Yeah, it's homework. Do your homework. Before. But yeah, definitely Paul Rubin was my favorite in this one. Just his character, it wasn't a big role. He was like a henchman kind of thing, but it was, I don't know, just something that he brought to it was great.
Yeah. He stole the movie. Like it was a small role, but he had an impact. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Agreed 1,000%. He definitely stole the movie. probably the most memorable of everyone. Like I'm looking at these people. Oh yeah, you were in it, weren't you? I knew Pee Wee Herman is like Paul Rubens definitely in it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, he kind of does that with a lot of things he's in. You know, that you find out years later, you're like, at least for me, like, I'm like, oh my God, like Paul Rubin was in this movie and this movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely a fun part of it. So as we were finishing up, you guys got anything else? Any good or bads? Any like parts that you remember were like classics almost?
You go first, Cookie. I know the entire
gosh.
movie.
I know, so do I. I can't pick just
You gotta
one.
Yeah.
I like when the my favorite part was when the basketball guy stands up. He's like, "I'm a god," when he's like turned, and then Pike stabs him. He's like, "Now you're a coat rack." Like the one-liners and the ridiculous slang in this movie is just it's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh,
I forgot about that part. What about you, Brian?
I think it's when they're first of vampires and the guy still comes to play basketball, and everyone knows he's different, and he's like basically daring anyone to steal the ball, and then, of course there's one guy who decides to go steal the ball, and he has to pay for it, and then Buffy had to come out and trip him on the court and beat him up, and then she runs off and they chase each other. So yeah. But, you know, I thought it was really cool seeing the cheerleader come on and challenge someone on the basketball court too. So.
Yeah. Man, yeah, those were great scenes.
Even in the park, in the carnival, and was it Donald Sutherland? Merrick dies.
Yeah,
you know,
that was emotional. I got so sad.
And she was like, "Oh," and he's like, "I always believe in you." You know, he's like, "I think you might not believe in you, but I believe in you." So that was always a cool moment too.
Yeah.
And I do have to say that this is the only movie I can watch Rutger Hauer in, because he's menacing, but in a jokey way. Because every other movie he's in, I'm horrified of him. I cannot watch him in anything because he's so creepy and scary.
He's such a good vampire.
He has that look.
Fact that he's funny, but he's such a good vampire. He's God.
And he was so over the top. He's like, "Oh, I want to dance." You know, like he's just like he's
we had the cape and everything too. Like yeah. It was. I think for me the best part, one of the better parts was the ending. You know, where they're at the dance and then the big fight happens. You know, and it was just like a good ending where like she didn't want to do it, but kind of forced to do it.
When she pulls out the cross, and he's like, "What you gonna do with this? Please."
Yes.
Kill you with my keen fashion sense, and sprays the hairspray and gives him a fire.
Yeah. But everything was just so over the top. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was crazy how they make it into like a TV show, like something so campy and over the top, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna make it a little bit more serious, and then we're gonna run it for was it like 10 seasons? How many seasons did Buffy run for?"
It was too many. That's what
it was too many.
And that's why I said Angel is better.
It didn't overstay its welcome.
Exactly. He knew where to get out.
Yeah. All right. So before we go, the question we've been asking all month long for the Halloween season is this a Halloween must-watch movie? Cookie, what you think?
I don't really watch this around Halloween, honestly. I guess because it's funny. So I want to watch like scary things, spooky things. So this is a all year round for me. But Halloween, maybe not so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you running?
For me, like I'll watch. Once again, if I'm flipping through the channels, it don't matter if it's Christmas time and I see Buffy on, I'm going to watch the movie. And Halloween, it doesn't matter if it's Halloween or Thanksgiving. I really don't care. I want to watch it when it's on. But it's just fun. Once again, I compare it to A Knight's Tale. It's one of those movies that I'm just going to, or 10 Things I Hate About You. If it's on, I'm going to stop and continue to watch it. It's just one. It's in that realm for me. It's not necessarily Halloween though.
Yeah. I might. It's one of my better, more liked vampire movies for sure. because it's so different than all the other ones where they're all like dark and gloom and everything's so serious, you know.
Mhm.
This is like the one that are like, all right, we're gonna kind of mess with it a little bit more, you know. And instead of like Van Helsing, we're gonna have like a cheerleader, you know, be the new like kind of like, you know, vampire hunter. And it's so well done that it is become a thing. You can say Buffy and instantly know what people are talking about. Usually they think about the show, but
Mhm.
obviously this came first, and you still know like, oh, it's this chick who fights vampires, you know. So yeah,
I
even
think
if
about
you
this movie.
don't,
I don't think about the show.
I me too, because it's what I've seen first and probably most. But yeah, it's not really a Halloween movie, but it is definitely like any time of the year kind of thing, you know, because it is a good vampire flick, you know. So okay. Anything else you guys want to add on before we finish it up?
It's just awesome. I
Yeah.
mean,
Soundtrack is great. I still listen to it a lot.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Holy crap! That talk about dating it. Very 90s. Very 90s.
Very 90s.
Yeah. Well. But cool. Yeah, so if you're checking out the video and you come to the end, leave a comment, let us know what you think about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not the TV show, the 1992 movie, the original Buffy. Leave a comment, let us know. Make sure you check out Cookie Munster with all her channels over on Twitter and or X, whatever it's called now. I still call it Twitter.
I know, so do I.
Yeah. So make sure you go check her out and hit that like button. Check us out. Hit that subscribe button. We're live every Monday and Thursday, and we do movies, TV shows, all that fun stuff. But I appreciate everyone coming in, hanging out with us. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next Halloween movie.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.